Crosby, Gensel on the right. He scores! Jake Gensel!
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt! NFL history! Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio right here in the Municipal Building. Thank you for watching us. We got a show ready. We got a little things in the background. Nick got to get in his chair. We're getting this thing together.
They wouldn't have known that.
Well, I figure I'd just tell it how it is. We've been doing live shows. This is our 846th show in a row. I beat Joe DiMaggio's hitting record
That's right.
by about 15 times. So 846 in the book. We got almost 900 some shows with Pittsburgh Sportsline on Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. Check that out. Thanks to all of you watching on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. You know we got about 7,000 likes on that page, so we're good there. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. If you're watching it, you're in Bethel Park. Hello to all you Bethel Park people. Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. That's where it's at. Please subscribe. I got to ask you again, I know I'm redundant. Pittsburgh Sportsline channel, we need more subscribers. So thank you, and we appreciate everybody on Facebook. Let me introduce myself. Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier with his $5 gear. Chip Hayner's here, and he switched up because the Pirate season's over. Look at his logo.
Wow.
Then we got Nick VIP Callis. We thought his streak of running down to the last minute or so was over. It continued 1 month in a row. He's been running it down to the wire, so we're honored to get this show on the road. I want to thank our friend Ty Polk. I told him he'd be a success. He's announcing games and boxing and women's sports, you name it. He's a superstar out there. He just graduated college probably about 3 years ago.
First success ever out of Homestead, ain't it?
No, second I heard. Amy Sliss is watching. Ann Harder's watching, looking for Michael to excel on the camera. And we're trying to get him into the top 10 of cameramen. And he got a little bit of a ways to go, and he's been learning the last month. So thanks to Mike. Marco Rody's watching. Hope you're better. You feel better. He said, hi, guys. He got a little belly ache. Raina Walls is watching. Paul Haley's watching. Teresa Mariano's watching. Coldest Steel is watching. Amy said, hello, guys. Nick, I like your haircut. Welcome back. Hold it. What about Emilio cutting my hair at Azazu today? How did you forget that? Chip was telling me a couple weeks ago it was too long. I had that Einstein look. Next day I had his shirt on. E equals MC squared. Every time people say it, they go, who got you that? I go, a co-host of mine thought he was having fun, and I take it as the greatest compliment. If somebody's saying I'm like Einstein, Smoking Jim barely knows who he is. But he was actually a genius.
Chip got me a black Barbie doll.
That makes sense. That tied right in. All right.
You never know.
Your grandma said, and she said, you're doing great. He's grinning like a Cheshire cat. Peggy and Nick Rohde are going to announce that they're watching from Rochester. We got your son, Michael. He's on the camera, and you'll be seeing that there. We're going to go to our promos. And we're going to start that right now. Please watch them. We do it so you can help these people that are in need. Like Albert Tripp Menu needs new lungs. And the kidney guys, they need new kidneys. And don't forget the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. They need as little as $1 to help them find a cure for DIPG. All right, Johnny, take it away. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
Hey Bethel Park, Salty Skeleton here, and I want to remind you to come out to the Bethel Park Public Works Halloween Parade on October 28th. In the meantime, I'll be hiding out in different places around Bethel Park. If you find me, come and take a selfie and post it to your favorite social media site, and see if your friends and neighbors can find me too. So I'll see you October 28th at the Halloween Parade. In the meantime, keep a lookout for me because I'll have my eyes on you. Ha 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 ha.
Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure, and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. What happened to Mike?
Go.
All right. Amy Sliss, my dad's doing okay. He's going to the doctor's next Wednesday for a stress test. Great update, Amy. Peggy and Nick, I said thank you for watching in Rochester, so just catching up with you. Scoop, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in, Scoop. And we're trying to get Albert Tripp Menu some money for a new lung, so we're trying to do that. All right. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green, you've got to see Levine. Can't wait to get Gunner back. Want to say, give a shout out.
One of the dumbest plays in Steeler history.
But I tell you what talent though. I want to give
what talent?
I want to give a shout out to my main man Mikey, a couple of his friends Sydney and Rowan that might be watching. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I don't know how Chip feels, but I can't get enough of Taylor Swift. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to the NFL since Campbell Soup. Go ahead.
You're one of 27 million viewers when they're showing her screaming and punching the glass, and you're one of the Swifties, they call it now.
And congratulations to Gateway. They scored 63 points this week.
Did they play Little Sisters of the Poor?
And here's something, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I'll tell you what, I don't know how I found it, but it says, join our community of Bethel Park. Free dinner. We want to have some ideas. My idea, when I go to this, if I go to this, Al, my idea is going to be, can we get a get-go? That's all I have, Al. I got fuel perks. I need my get-go.
Smoking Jim, let me, on a serious note,
Oh, man.
Ma and Pa Country Kitchen, they've given out hundreds of Thanksgiving meals.
Is this going to be that Mom and Pa?
No, this will be, it'll be coming attractions
Okay.
that I'm on the Bethel Park Community Foundation. We're going to donate money. They want to get more than 500 people fed on Thanksgiving. So you'll be able to go in there, because if you dress like you do, they know you're homeless. They know you stole a car, and you can go eat, and they'll tell you can get a Thanksgiving
Okay,
meal.
I congratulate you in advance on winning the awards.
What awards?
Ooh, question.
Yeah.
Did we give you your first pumpkin pie last year?
Yes.
Yes, that was good. That was good.
That was the best
You made a
pumpkin
black-
pie
you
he
made a
ever
black
ate.
man happy.
And the first.
But hey, real quick, always said the easiest position, and it's proven, the easiest position to play in football is quarterback. Everybody makes it play like it's so hard. Mikey, ever since he was in diapers and Pampers was pitching and catching. His first word was mama, second word was pitching and catch, third word was dad.
No, he didn't.
Everybody pitch and catch.
You did the numbers
It's
thing wrong
easy.
again. Pitch and catch is 3 words.
Pitch and catch. But listen, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
Best in the
that only
NFL.
put him- he was 20 of 21. I told you guys before the season that C.J. Stroud would eat up the National Football League, and he did. And I told you that Bryce Young, the first pick overall, Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama, would be an NFL bust. I wouldn't draft him if it was 12 rounds in the draft, and he's already proven to be a bust.
Smoking
And
Jim, I salute you.
I got to upgrade my grade. I gave the Steelers, and I owe Nick an apology.
Yeah!
I got to upgrade the Steelers from a D- to a D+ now that Broderick Jones is playing. I never thought Dan Moore would get hurt. The Steelers ought to stick with him now that he's in the lineup.
Hold it, you love Dan
And-
Moore. You threw
and-
him under the bus.
Yeah, but he got hurt. Hey, you can't get hurt. Listen, Nick was right. I said Dan Moore would never play right tackle. Now Dan Moore is going to have to back up left tackle and right tackle.
Well,
and that's what's on my mind.
Smoking
me,
Jim.
pick
I'm
me.
only right
Wait, I gotta
97%
interrupt real
of the
quick.
time.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I can't take anything you say seriously. Michael's second word to see. Catch. Michael's first word to be. And.
All right. A little reference that Chip Hayner and I trying to teach Smoking Jim.
But Dad's down the
No,
line.
wait, we're trying to teach you like baseball. And Lou
And I
Gehrig.
played it.
Well, no, you didn't. But Lou Gehrig replaced Wally Pipp. Well, guess who the new Wally Pipp on the Steelers is? Dan Moore.
Prayers to Wakefield.
He's
his
dead.
family.
Yeah.
His wife is sick too. She's getting ready to die.
No, it's terrible. You don't even remember he pitched and threw a knuckleball.
Why did you
Yeah.
just throw that in there? That's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, I'm just saying prayers.
Oh, okay.
Well, what am I
Thank
supposed
you.
to not say?
What public
gotta pray.
announcement did you want to make about me?
Oh, well, you know you're going to win all the TV awards again for the and make
October
Claudio-
19th.
Make Claudio Luther.
Hold
man.
it, they're watching. My son Drew tells me not to brag. So on that note, I've won 35 awards.
Congratulations.
2 awards from the Greater Pittsburgh Media Awards, once for an entertainment show with Jessica Lee, and then once with our Taekwondo show.
That's called a humble brag.
Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. Drew's watching, so he tells me not to brag. Then I won 33 awards here: Producer of the Year, Producer of the Month, Producer of Series, etc. So I'm thankful and blessed with that. And everybody that helps me, like Michael, Johnny, Big Mike, Nick, Chip, and Jim, I couldn't do it without any of them. So I'm thankful in advance. Whether I win another award or not, I'm not worried about it, but we try to put out an entertaining, fun show. And believe it or not, we try to put out a few facts. And with Smoking Jim, we never let a story get in the way of the truth. So I just wanted to clarify that.
To
But
a.
far be it from you to toot your own horn,
Right.
but toot.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Why do you think Drew tries to tamp it down? So no, if I'm not talking, I'm not promoting. So
No,
I
it's all
appreciate all of you and being fans. And whatever awards we win in the future, I'm blessed to have a great team. We got this Levine team. We'll have a cake next week for our
Happy birthday.
12th year anniversary. Smoking Jim, I thought since he went to Cal U, he was a smart guy. But he stopped talking about being an honest man. And he learned that my birthday is still June 30th, 1956. But he calls October 11th, 2011 my birthday. Somehow it got in his mind. All right, we got to carry on. Thanks, Smoking Jim. We're going to Chip Hayner. Whatever's on your mind, we know you're going to cover some Pirates.
I'm going to cover a few topics. First off, I'm not one of the people that are running the flag up that's saying fire Mike Tomlin, fire Matt Canada. I mean, yeah. I watched my very first Steeler game on Sunday, beginning to end. And what I saw in that game is the Pittsburgh Steelers get completely outplayed by the Houston Texans on offense, on defense and on special teams. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense forgot to get on the airplane, never showed up in Houston. T.J. Watt, I don't know where he was.
He said he played a bad game.
They found a way of neutralizing him, which I'm sure everybody's going to try to copy moving forward. I don't know if it's going to work or not. And I think without any question of a doubt, the Steelers are in desperate need of a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, just his performance on Sunday, you can blame Matt Canada all you want, but Kenny Pickett doesn't have the ability to read zone defenses. One particular play when the Steelers it was 3rd and goal on the 5-yard line, and Kenny Pickett rolled to the left and decided to throw into double coverage instead of to Cam Hayward, who was 10 yards behind him, wide open in the corner of the end. Connor Hayward.
Cam Hayward in space.
But I mean, he had a receiver that was wide open, and he threw it to the guy in double coverage. Subsequently, we had to kick a field goal. He injured his knee, which was 100% his fault, not Broderick Jones' fault, because he's skittish in the pocket. He can't handle the pressure of being in the pocket, which if you're going to be a quarterback in the NFL and you can't handle the pressure, you got no business being a quarterback in the NFL. And after 17 games as a starting quarterback, it's time to give somebody else an opportunity to see what they can do. I mean, we didn't give Mason Rudolph more than 10 games. We didn't give Mitch Trubisky more than a half a dozen games. And we determined neither of them could play quarterback. And I'm afraid that Kenny Pickett is well on his way to being the 3rd worst first-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, behind Jarvis Jones and Jermaine Stevens.
Wow.
That's just part of what's on my mind. Next up on my on what's on my mind is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And first and foremost, a former Pirate, Tim Wakefield, passed away, 57 years old, of brain cancer on Sunday. And, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. He was a draft pick by the Pirates. He was drafted as a first baseman. And he was never going to make the major leagues as a first baseman, so he learned how to throw the knuckleball. And it landed him a 17-year career in the major leagues.
Look at how he started.
He won 2 World Series championships with the Boston Red Sox.
They got their first after the curse.
And wait a minute, he played his first 6 years with the Pirates.
Yeah.
And they traded him. And guess what? Bob Nutting wasn't the owner. Okay, so let's talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates 2023. Season wrapped up on Sunday. I spent Friday and Saturday night down at the ballpark. Just an absolute great place to watch a game. I sat out in the right field seats above the Clemente wall
different.
for Friday night. I sat in my seats on Saturday. Pirates record for this year, 76 and 86. And I know at the beginning of the year, I said that I felt that the Pirates would go 72 and 90. And I know my young friend over here, Nicholas, predicted 84 wins.
Hold it, he needs a quarter.
But you know what? His optimism for the month of April made him believe that. And you know what? God bless Nick.
No.
I know Nick's a baseball fan.
Nope, you're lying. That's misleading. I predicted they'd win 84 in February.
Okay, I stand corrected.
So
That's why I want a
there's
quarter.
a big difference between February and the end of April, sir.
Okay, so
And I got that quarter.
And if
Not
you
yet.
think about the season this year, if you remove the month of May out of the Pirates' schedule, they would have been a contending team this year. But
Whoa.
unfortunately,
You had that month.
you have to have that month. And so subsequently, the last 2.5 months of the season, the Pirates played acceptable ball, starting mostly rookies. Okay, there was most nights they started 4 or 5 rookies.
Yeah.
And depending on who was pitching, some nights they started 6 rookies. And the Pirates are now trending in the right direction. An improvement of 14 games from last year to this year is a significant accomplishment with only 2/5 of a pitching staff.
Yeah.
So, you know, things look good for the Pirates for 2024. there are some things that need to be done in the offseason, and there's going to be moves that are going to be made. There's going to be people that were on the roster this year that aren't going to be there next year.
Oh, yeah.
There's not going to be as many free agents signed. The two biggest needs for the team going into next year, starting pitching and a first baseman. Now, I think Jared Triolo would be an excellent platoon player for first base. The guy can play any position in the infield, getting him used to playing that side of the infield. The guy is, he batted 300. He had over 200 at-bats. The guy is definitely somebody that we can look forward to seeing to next year. We'll see what happens. I would like to think that they might have the possibility of bringing back Carlos Santana, a left-handed bat as a platoon, first base. Could make sense. Maybe it'll work out.
Good locker room guy, though.
Maybe
Good
it won't.
locker room.
Well, it would be great for the Latin American players because he was more of a mentor for them.
Yeah.
But we will see what happens. I am very much looking forward to the 2024 season. The one thing that I hope the Pirates do, but I could understand if they don't do it, and this isn't going to make a lot of people happy when I say this. But looking at the way the Pirates performed this year, having Andrew McCutchen on the team next year is something that I would like to see. But is it absolutely necessary that he does that? I could understand not, because if you think about it, all the young players that were earning playing time, he would take a roster spot away from one of them. I would hope that if Andrew McCutchen is signed for next year, that he can play in the outfield as part of a platoon in right field, as well as a designated hitter. Whether or not
That's interesting.
Designated hitting.
Well,
Extending
what?
career since
Who would
2021.
think? Who would think
or
you'd hear
2022.
that, right?
Yeah, but you know what?
He said it.
I am still not a fan of it. But you know what? I can shake my
It's the
fist at the
game.
sky. I can yell at the kids to get off my lawn, and it isn't going to change. It's part of the game right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is what it is. So very much looking forward to the Pirates. Playoffs started today. I said this back in 2013, and I'll get right to you, Jim. Back in 2013, when the Pirates played the play-in game against the Reds, what I wanted to see then was the wild card series to be a 3-game series. Major League Baseball is now doing
They
that.
listen to you.
Apparently, nobody in St. Petersburg got the memo that the Tampa Rays were playing a playoff game today. The attendance for the Tampa Texas Rangers game was 19,000 and some change. I'm sitting there looking at empty seats in a playoff game. Now, if you pan the camera to Minnesota, where the Twins were playing,
it was packed.
It was packed, and the people were going completely berserk.
And
that's the playoff atmosphere.
Here, one side note. I don't know if you guys remember a guy 6'8" throwing the ball, Glasnow. He didn't have a good start, and he had 98 pitches in 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, and he gave up 2 runs.
Gave up 2 runs.
He pitched into trouble and out of trouble. I was watching it.
But
That's one of our guys.
They still lost 4-0. But that means that all the work that they put in through the season doesn't end just because you had one bad game.
That's the
just
point,
think
yes.
about 2015 when Garrett Cole, against the Chicago Cubs, threw a pitch to Kyle Schwarber that he wished would have broke more.
Yeah.
That still hasn't landed.
Right.
Okay, and that ended the Pirate season. That was a Pirate team that won 98 games.
Right.
And the only reason they didn't win the division was because the Cardinals won 100.
Yeah.
But a lot of things to look forward
And we
to.
beat the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, yes, we did. A lot of things to look forward to with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're trending in the right direction. Ben Cherington's, Derek Shelton's, and Bob Nutting's plan is working. They have stuck with the plan. The plan was to gut the organization, rebuild from within, and so far it's bearing fruit. So,
Well, Chip, on that note,
Applaud to the Pirates.
Before we go to Smoking Jim and something negative, I've been talking bad about the Pirates being a disgruntled fan, and this year I said I watched more games in April than I had in 3 years. Well, I continued to watch games, but the losing streaks were tough. But then when I was looking at it the last month of the season, I'm like, wait a second. I might be in trouble with that quarter that Nick owes me. So I haven't asked him until last week. You owe me a quarter.
I want to make that clear too. It was April, or it was February. I
February,
predicted that.
and-
not
We're
April.
good.
Nick,
but
I stand corrected.
Yeah, but my point to carry on is,
I still owe you a quarter.
yes, I wanted him to admit it. We got that covered. Right, I owe you. We'll be good.
And I'm already looking forward to the day the pitchers and catchers report.
Right, and my point of it is, we talked about them losing 100 games and thought how futile it was, and look what happened when we wanted a shuffle of the deck with changes. Nutting did that. Then he spent some money, whether we thought it was wise or foolish or not enough. They won 76 games and only lost 86. Smoking Jim lost another bet at the casino. What a shock. They're still lining up. Where's he at?
So,
So,
go ahead. What
go
would
ahead.
you have, Jim?
When you were figuring out everything, did you figure out what would happen if they threw out April? But the question is,
What a negative
I
man.
just wonder.
Negative.
I just wonder.
Well,
But
you know the
question is-
answer.
Question is, can the Pirates be the next? And they look a lot like them. If you look at the history, can they be the next Baltimore Orioles next year?
That is a good question. And you know what?
Good question.
Time will tell. Because the Orioles, I believe it was, Nick, you can correct me on this one. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? They lost 115 games.
I think it was 3.
2021.
2 years ago.
Oh, only
2 years ago, they lost 115
Okay.
games,
I thought it
and
was
they
before.
won 100 this year.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you
Well,
know.
don't mention how the
and
Astros
wait a minute.
did it and then they
well, wait
cheated.
a minute. And they have a lower payroll than the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Whoa.
I didn't know that.
Smoking Jim, that ended up being a great question.
Thank you.
All right, little
You know,
shout out.
I gotta-
We got a
useless
few other
information.
people watching. Charlene Thomas is watching. Paul Haley said, yeah, 76, 86. Marla Shatner's watching. Hi, Al. Hi, crew. She said, thank you, gentlemen. All right, that's a friend watching. Pete Kasich's watching. Joseph Parker's watching. Thanks to all of you watching. Now I got to ask, Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, our illustrious boss and facility director, Dave Cable, has a birthday today. So happy birthday,
Happy
Dave.
birthday, Dave.
We salute you, Dave Cable.
He didn't tell me until today. Usually we write birthdays on the calendar, and Dave was just like, oh, well, it's just today. So I'm like, no, it's not. You're a nice guy. Happy birthday. You had to be born to run this facility.
I'd have brought a cookie in for him.
That's what I'm saying, but he didn't tell anybody until today. So, but happy birthday to
It's
him.
traditional.
I don't
Hey,
want to.
you did bring a cookie. It's got pepperoni on it.
Ah, yeah, but somebody's munching on that right now.
Very good.
All right, you got that out. What's up?
So the Steelers. Now I'm very much in the opposite realm of where Chip is with everything. I think that the coaching staff is failing the team. Canada's got to make better adjustments. Kenny Pickett has had success before, and to point out one pass that he didn't execute properly, or two passes that he didn't execute properly,
More.
or three. I'm really not being sarcastic. There's few that he's making, I'd say fewer more than greater mistakes, and he's shown signs that he can execute big plays. So when Matt Canada's not creating adjustments, or if the offensive line isn't blocking properly, you're going to have some problems. Now,
Thanks for watching.
I
the
talked
offensive line.
about last week too that Najee Harris, when he's running, has to trust the offensive line more. Maybe Pickett has to trust the offensive line a little bit more as well before he bails out. But I mean, there are plays where I'm seeing good signs from Pickett in terms of the passes that he makes. Or there was one play that he scrambled out of the pocket and ran for a first down and was getting chippy with the defense, which I like to see a little bit of frustration and anger and passion in games, and he demonstrated that. And he ran like he used to run and scramble out of the pocket at Pitt, which tells me, okay, he still got those moves somewhere. Remember, he was fast. When he played at Pitt, they created a rule because he stutter-stepped and fake slid so beautifully that they made a rule you can't do that because his body was almost parallel with the ground. He had held his weight up so much. So, he has those capabilities to be able to do that, and I think that around the right offensive scheme, he can succeed. Now, Mike Tomlin, heavy defensive coach, not really great with the offensive side of the football, and he points to Matt Canada and says, hey, make this happen. And there are two things that could be happening. Matt Canada's creating so many poor schemes, or Tomlin is telling Canada how to run the offense.
How about both?
Could be both. Now, if Tomlin says, yeah, this is a great idea, and Canada's like, yeah, I agree with you, let's run it like this. And then they're playing with like really simple and not very confusing plays. They're not confusing defenses. They're not playing unpredictably. So I really think that that's more on just there's more responsibility to be had than that of just Kenny Pickett. And I think it starts with the coaching, because the coaching's got to set the players up for success. Kenny Pickett's in year 2. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks that have taken until the 3rd year to really be the superstars. But you don't even really need to win games with superstar quarterbacks, and that's been proven over the test of time as well. So Kenny Pickett doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes for the Steelers to succeed. The scheme has to work, okay? And it didn't. I will say to some responsibility should be held against the defense as well, because the Texans, I believe, into that game ran for 211 yards the whole season through 3 games, and then they ran like a whole lot more than that against the Steelers.
They were averaging 70, and they gained 140 something.
So the Steelers have been exposed in their run defense. They can't stop the run. Now, when you're like T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith, when they're playing well and they get to the quarterback quickly and they force that pressure, teams aren't going to be running very much more. They're going to start trying to pass, and that's when the Steelers' defense does well and slaughters the quarterback and gets all those sacks and interceptions and. So the defense, though, if you don't stop the run, you've got good running teams like the 49ers exposed that. The Texans somehow exposed that. They just ran it up the middle, and they chipped away and chipped away and chipped away.
No pun intended.
Right. Chip's a host on this show. Right, so that's really where it lies with me. It's not. I mean, you could blame Pickett and say, "Oh, look at these 6 plays throughout the whole season where he didn't execute what he was supposed to do." Well, that's great, but like the defense gave up 30. I'll blame him this time. There's no excuse for 30 points against the Texans. So it's all just got to come together. It's all got to come together. So that's really where I am with the Steelers. I have a little more faith in Pickett than you may right now. And understand that there's so much more that coaches are supposed to influence. And it's that kind of thing too. There's a lot of questions going up now that I've seen, like how much do coaches actually influence things? And can coaches make things worse? I think that there are some cases where coaches make things better or worse, but if you're going to have coaches in there and you're going to trust these people to execute game plans and make adjustments in game, then they better be doing that or there's no point. Tomlin's getting real stale to me. Canada has been stale for a while, and he's just continuing to prove that like there's nothing revolutionary he's doing, and he's not even doing the fundamental things right. He's not even calling or maybe he's calling too many fundamental plays, and that's easy for the defense to read. So don't blame Pickett so soon. There's no point in coaches being there if they're not going to assist in making adjustments. Because again, I can predict some of the plays that they have, and I'm not a football expert, so. That's where it is. That's what's on my mind. And save Pickett.
So
Pickett.
I respect your point of view, Nick, and here's where I disagree with it. It isn't. I mean, it's not wholly Kenny Pickett's fault, but
nope. You could just put the period right there because we're good. We can move on.
Okay,
he got more.
Right, but the coaches aren't on the field missing tackles. The coaches aren't on the field missing blocks. The coaches aren't on the field running the wrong routes. The coaches aren't taking handoffs and not hitting the right hole. So the players have some accountability and responsibility for the situation in as much as or more so than the coaches.
Let me hit the rewind button one more time. Hello, Michael, over here. So the defense does not stop the run well. And the offense struggles to block. And I said last week, Najee Harris doesn't trust the offensive line, bounces everything outside, and doesn't tries to take on the whole defense on one running play. So I'm good with that. I acknowledge all that. I said all that there's a whole lot going on. That's why Pickett. I'm not saying Pickett's not the guy because I think it's too soon for that. And I think there's a whole lot of responsibility everywhere, not just with the coaches on the field either. Now, Al Levine, go ahead.
First Chief had a comment.
Okay.
We'll put that out. Chuck McElroy, when has Kenny played good? Needs more time. And that's what I wanted to bring up. you say about give Kenny a chance. He played 17 games.
Between 2 years?
He's
Okay.
played 17 games. Canada's been here for 3 years.
Right.
We had the same complaints with Big Ben not being able to move and everything else, and Canada was here. We have the same complaints now, 3 years later. So I'm with Chip. I think the players have a big thing to do. Like when I played on offense, I was told just get in front of a guy. Now here's the first running play. I got to tell you about Najee because I watch him, and they disrespect Najee because he had 3 good running plays. The first play that they handed off to him, there were defensive players in the backfield. He ran into the back of number 80, Washington, because there was nowhere to go. So he trusted the line would block. He trusted Washington would block, and he got tackled in the backfield. Then I saw a couple more plays. He's getting a handoff with 2 defensive linemen on him with another 3 and 4 there. This is early in the game. Then I see him break loose. They block on a play, 7, 8 yards, 10 or 12 yards, and a 22-yard play. Now, I've been saying since the season started, for some reason, Najee Harris, with a bad line, beat Franco Harris's rookie year rushing record and has done 1,000 yards each year. But, you know, I told Smoke and Jim last week, why aren't they throwing to Najee? Guess who was the leading receiver after he and I talked? Najee Harris. 1 pass for 32 yards. So it's a fundamental problem with coaching, team, and schemes. There's no doubt about it. But the reason we're fired up about Canada is we saw it with a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Now we saw it with Mitch Trubisky. Then we saw it with Kenny Pickett coming in. Maybe too soon, like I was saying. Give him a year. And we saw preseason, which wasn't a prelude to anything, because I told Drew he wanted me to watch hockey. I love the Penguins. Sidney Crosby's at home. They got crushed 3-0. The power play was nothing. I divert because I don't like to watch preseason games at all. It means nothing to me except for players making a team.
Right.
And I want the coach's decision because they get paid money. We're just watching it. And talking about getting paid money, the cheapest offensive coordinator in the NFL is Canada, $500,000 a year.
And he's really playing, or he's
And
really
he's
coaching
he's
to that
playing
salary.
to that level.
Yeah.
And then on the defense, Watt, it's unusual. He admitted he played terrible. They blocked him differently. If you saw, they had a tackle blocking him. Then when he got past him, they had another guy come over from the line and hit TJ.
And you know who was rendered useless in that plan?
Who?
Alex Highsmith.
Exactly, because you know why. When they're all on Watt, he runs free.
Well, here's what the thing was. They figured if they neutralized the 2 edge rushers, there wasn't anybody in the defensive line that they needed to worry
And
about.
this is
Hayward's
a point.
still on the
I was
IR.
watching ESPN, or I heard something on something. They were talking about, you know, Tomlin talks about splash plays. TJ Watt does it, Highsmith does it. And this expert in the NFL, I forget who he was, he said, if you take the splash plays out because they're just a little bit of the defense, take all our splash plays away, guess what? We have the worst defense in the NFL. Wow. Imagine that stat-wise.
Yeah, it's rough.
Right, and we have the most expensive defense because of 3 guys on it.
Yeah.
So we don't deal in reality like fire the coaches, fire the players, and everything else. But I just wanted to add that before I do, you know, what's on my mind there. So
That wasn't what's on your mind?
no, that was
Oh, okay.
that was 70% of it. Yeah, so I'll go to what's on my mind. First of all, the Penguins played right near where Sid Crosby grew up. What an honor that is to have 3 superstars, still 18 years. It's a new record in sports. And I forget who we beat. They had 17 years, and we got 18 years with our top 3. And believe it or not, whatever we pay them, they achieved what they've been doing. So, I mean, that's incredible. But then they lost 3-0. They still don't know how to have a good power play, and they got to make adjustments, and you got one of the best offensive defensemen in the league, and why can't we make it work? They got to make some changes, And Sullivan will do it, I believe that. But I didn't waste my time on that. I'm still fired up about how great the Pirates did. And then it's like you have a split personality, because when they win a game, we're going to the Super Bowl. Lose a game, fire everybody. Well, to me, the season doesn't feel like 2-2. It feels like 0-4. Yeah. And that's what everybody around town is suffering.
And the best part is they're second in the AFC North with that record.
They win on Sunday. They're in first place.
Yeah,
with the tiebreaker against the Ravens and the Browns.
And that's why I want to add this. That's why, as Steeler fans, we can't deal in reality, because look at how spoiled we are.
You're great when you're 9-8. Woo!
Yes, and Mark Caboli's watching. Shout out to him.
From The Athletic.
Yeah,
93.7
thank you
The
for
Fan.
watching.
My man.
We appreciate you. Jacob Davies watching.
Wiffle ball guy.
We salute you. Thanks for everybody watching us. We got to do one of our segments. It's called Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm psyched up. My main man, Mark Bowley's watching. Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
Yes.
I got to give you deserve credit to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They moved from 1.2 million fans last year to 1.6 million watch the Pirates this year. I'm not going to mention that there's 8 teams that had over 3 million, and the Dodgers almost had 4 million. But I can congratulate.
Let me do a disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Wait a minute.
Thanks, Jim.
They got 9 million people that live in Los
Here
Angeles.
we go.
You've got less than 1 million people that live in the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, let me do a disclaimer. Smokin' Jim's a very nice guy. He doesn't really know baseball.
I love it.
So anytime they called him Vita Blue, and he didn't know who that was because he's a righty, not a lefty. So his basis on that does not reflect
Every
our
one of those
opinions
cities
of the
has 10
studio.
times the population of
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
none of his comments mean much there.
Well, here we go.
What do you really want to say?
Hey, yesterday's heroes are soon forgotten. I did this for Chipper because Chipper's in this week. Here's a guy nobody ever heard of that played in the ABA named Stu Johnson. Stu Johnson's from Clairton, and one time he's a 6'8" guy, one of the first 6 foot tall guys I seen that could shoot from the outside. Eddie Jeffries, the legend, introduced me to him, and the first thing I asked Stu, I says, "You're so tall, how'd you develop that outside shot?" He says, "Growing up in the projects of Clairton," I think there's all projects. You ever see a house in Clairton?
Yes.
I
have.
He said.
Hold it.
You seen a house? Oh, Century 3 Mall. Oh, they tore that down.
No,
What house?
my brother-in-law and sister
Yeah.
owned numerous rental properties that I've been to in
One
Clairton.
bathroom?
No,
Okay.
families.
Well, he said.
Sort of like your
Well,
house.
I'm just quoting. He said, growing up in the projects in Clairton, he was so tall that they wouldn't let him play underneath the basket. So he had to play, if he wanted to play pickup games, he had to play
Shoot
from
outside.
the outside and shoot from the outside and develop.
They helped them out.
And it helped him in the ABA. He set the ABA record, 62 points in one game. He's a 3-time All-Star. Ended up with over 10,000 points, which made him 8th all-time scorer in ABA history behind Dr. J and some of those other guys. So, hey, here's to the legend, Stu Johnson, 6'8" guy from Clairton, PA. Congratulations on a great, great career. 62 points in one game, 3-time All-Star.
Thank you, Smokin' Jim. And, it's our 12th year. This is one of his better fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
And you seen
Because
the
you know
mobile
why?
home?
It was true.
You seen a mobile
It was
home in
true.
Clairton?
No, regular
A
houses.
regular house?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll do a little side story. I had a
You ever
brother-in-law.
go there at night?
Yes. Here's my story. I got a few of them. Smokin' Jim, I had a brother-in-law,
Woo!
ex-brother-in-law, had a home remodeling company. And he was Godfather, may he rest in peace, he's passed away. and he was Drew's godfather. He'd send me to Clairton in West Virginia to sell home remodeling and windows. And wouldn't you know, 7 o'clock at night, it was dark this time of year. I had to go to Clairton. I'm knocking on a door. The light's on the porch. There's a dog barking next door. There's another dog there. And they knocked in, the nicest people there. I sold them a whole house of 12 windows.
Really? Wow.
I don't make up stories like Smoking Jim. You can just go back to the 90s, and that's a true story. All right, let's get Chip Hayner and trivia time.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And tonight's trivia goes to probably one of the best infielders that I ever saw play in my lifetime,
Whoa.
who passed away last week. None other than Brooks Robinson.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Brooks Robinson was probably the best fielding third baseman I have ever seen play in my time in life. And I know Nick always shakes his head when I go about, but the history of baseball is equally as important as the present.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I learned about Brooks Robinson, the human vacuum, in a video game.
Okay.
So take that.
Yeah, dig that. Good for Nick. And there he goes. His nickname was the human vacuum cleaner. Just he was an 18-time All-Star. He won 16 consecutive Gold Gloves, which is a record, second most all time behind one of my favorite pitchers, Greg Maddux. But just a quick synopsis of the highlights of his career, and then we'll move on to the VIP. 18-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 1966, 1970, American League MVP in 1964, World Series MVP, 1970, Roberto Clemente Award winner in 1972. He played in two...
Was that the first one?
First one.
I believe it was.
First one.
He played in 2,870 career games. He holds the record
That's the
for
most
playing the most career games
knew
at
that.
one position.
Wow.
Now, Cal Ripken played the most
Yeah.
the most consecutive games, but he was a shortstop and he was a third
Right.
baseman. So, he passed away. And the reason that I brought up the Orioles, and, obviously it broke my heart to hear he passed away.
Yeah.
But, the Orioles are in the playoffs this year after losing 115 games 2 years ago. And I would love nothing more this year than to see a World Series that featured the Atlanta Braves and the Baltimore Orioles. The
Whoa.
Atlanta Braves, if you look at their statistics for this year, in every offensive category, they outperformed the 1927 Yankees.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Straight up. They have at
Murderers
least...
Row.
It's amazing what happens when you have a 50 home run hitter on your team.
Well,
doesn't
no, they've got, I believe they have 6 players that hit more than 30 home runs this year.
it? Wow.
They hit 307 home runs as a team this year.
You mean home runs are impactful to, for playoff teams?
Well,
That's,
you know what?
They were now.
Nick, the proof is in the
Whoa.
pudding.
Woo.
But that's my trivia for this week. Go Birds, go Braves.
And
Wow.
don't forget my main man went down in the plane crash, Russ Francis. He's a heck of a tight end.
Good point
Correct.
there. May he rest in peace. All right, let's go to Nick VIP Callis time.
All right, Pirates reflection, right? Real quick, because we don't have much time left.
I'll split it with you.
Okay. Pirates, some good things, some not good things. If you take out May, they would have made the playoffs. They also lost 10 games in a row in June, I believe, so it didn't get much better until August. But lots of young talent. That's really great. I want to see McCutchen win a World Series. Will he? Probably not, because the universe hates, the modern era of baseball and the Pirates, so probably not going to see that. But, I'd love to have him back for another year. Carlos Santana could go either way. The Pirates need to invest most of their resources in pitching for next season. They've got a lot of young, talented hitters. They're deep in the middle infield. Henry Davis is apparently going to catch next season, according to Ben Cherington, so that's nice to hear. The offense, the outfield, is anybody's to win, it seems. And there's a lot of first-round picks or like really highly touted prospects again playing the middle infield. Jared Triolo should play first base. I love Carlos Santana, but that's why I'm not really worried about that position being filled next season because Triolo, great defensively, and he seems to be able to be playing that position well. Ke'Bryan Hayes is a great defensive third baseman, and I hope that he wins the third base Gold Glove over Nolan Arenado this year. He deserves it. And the Cardinals stink for the first time since 1999. The Pirates finish ahead of the Cardinals in the division. That's something to celebrate, I think, a little bit. So just keep that in your thoughts and keep that in your memory as we move forward to next season. But there's a lot of pieces filled. Pitching, though. Get more pitchers. Bednar's lock in the back end. Keller and Oviedo, I have the most faith in. Going into next season, we can hope that Roansy Contreras continues to develop and a bunch of the other names that they have kind of swirling around there. But get me a couple free agents maybe, make a splash trade, and let's go Bucks. Next.
All right, let's go to On Location right in 10 seconds there. Click the button.
What a line. Just tell him to
This
do
will
it.
be an award-winning show. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I asked for On Location. He said, do it. We got called by Jose Carabella of Ray Schaefer Boxing Association. On the 14th of October, we're doing fights at 6 p.m. at the VFW in Millvale right there. I think $20 general admission there. It's a nice location, nice venue. Jose Carabella and Ray Schaefer Boxing Association honors us by letting us live stream. It'll be on Facebook, and it'll be live stream on subscribe to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel on YouTube. And we're honored to be able to do that. And we're running out of time. I want to thank all of you for your interaction. One last part. Oh, Chip Hayner's watching. Steve Schnickert's watching. Chief said hockey Braves are awesome. Running out of time. I missed this, Paul. How about Notre Dame come from behind win?
Did they?
Yeah, great point there, Paul. We appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you watching us on Facebook Live. We appreciate that. Try to migrate to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. And if you're watching us on traditional TV, we love that too. We just can't interact with that. But, you know, these are modern times, and I got a little technology so I can interact when I see it. Whoa, okay. I saw what I look like there. All right.
Frightening.
Thanks for that. Haircut by Emilio at Azazu. Look at that crisp cut. I told him I'd shout out to him. Azazu downtown. I parked in the garage. I'm safe. Please stay Joey strong.